Composting is one of the most powerful tools a gardener can master. It turns kitchen scraps, dead leaves, and lawn waste into black, living soil that can transform tired, dusty beds into fertile ground. But not all compost is created equal. Some piles take months to break down, others attract pests, and many gardeners, especially beginners, make a few common mistakes that stall the entire process. If your compost pile looks dry, smells sour, or seems frozen in time, you're not alone. The truth is, there's a difference between throwing scraps in a pile and engineering an actual compost system that works fast. Speed composting isn't just about heat, it's about moisture balance, carbon to nitrogen ratio, microbial activity, and surprisingly, how you layer and bury your materials. And today you're going to learn a trick that flips all that on its head. Let's start with a few things every gardener should know. Composting is a living process. It needs air, moisture, and a good balance between carbon-rich browns like leaves and cardboard, and nitrogen-rich greens like kitchen scraps, grass, and manure. But most people unknowingly slow their piles down by doing things like adding too much citrus, burying fats or meats, or forgetting to chop their scraps. Worse, many just pile everything on top and walk away, assuming nature will do the rest. That's not how you get rich jet black compost. You also want to avoid adding anything chemically treated like glossy paper-colored ink or grass clippings sprayed with weed killer. These can either kill off the microbes that do the composting or contaminate the end result. Same goes for too many onions or garlic skins. They're slow to break down and can repel earthworms. It's these little things repeated week after week that leave gardeners frustrated with dry, half-rotted piles. Now here's what worked. After testing dozens of materials in my pile, banana peels, eggshells, spent tea leaves, even bread soaked in worm tea, nothing broke down faster or more completely than what I'm about to share. In just 1 week, I opened up my compost pile and found a pocket of sticky jet black humus. No foul smell, no visible chunks, just a rich, forest-scented patch that looked like it had been aging for months. The secret? Frozen zucchini cores buried with stale bread soaked in compost tea. Zucchini is soft, wet, and high in nitrogen. When frozen and then thawed, the cellular walls collapse, making it one of the easiest materials for microbes to digest. It doesn't clump up or form anaerobic pockets like some dense materials do. Instead, it melts into the pile, feeding bacteria, fungi, and worms all at once. The result is a moisture-rich zone that activates the surrounding browns and accelerates breakdown in everything nearby. So the bread acts like a sponge. It holds onto the moisture and the microbial life from the compost tea. Once buried, it becomes a buffet line for decomposers. The starch in the bread attracts bacteria, and the combination of warmth, moisture, and fungal spores in the tea creates a microclimate that composts surrounding material faster than you'd believe. Here's how to do it step by step. First, freeze any leftover zucchini or summer squash. You don't need the whole thing, just the cores, peels, or soft ends. While that freezes, take a few slices of old bread and soak them in compost tea, worm juice, or even plain water with a pinch of sugar to kickstart fermentation. You want them soggy, but not falling apart. Now head to your compost pile and dig out a trench or hole at least 8 inches deep. This keeps the materials below the surface, away from pests, and in the warmest part of the pile. Lay down a base of dried leaves or shredded cardboard. Then add the frozen zucchini, followed by the soaked bread. Cover the whole thing with finished compost or old soil to seal in the heat and microbes. That's it, no turning, no mixing, just bury it and leave it alone. What happens next is powerful. The frozen zucchini begins to thaw and ooze into the pile, hydrating nearby browns while injecting nitrogen. The bread holds it all in place, acting as a moisture lock and microbial sponge. Within 3 to 5 days, fungal strands begin to colonize the zone. By day 7, you'll notice a visible change in texture and smell. When you dig it up, the area will be darker, richer, and almost sticky. That's humus forming faster than any traditional method. It gets better. Earthworms will show up within days, especially if your pile sits directly on soil. They're drawn to the scent of fermentation and the soft structure of the decaying bread and zucchini. And when worms move in, they bring worm castings, aeration, and even more microbial diversity. That pocket you just created becomes an engine of decomposition, spreading to surrounding material without you ever lifting a pitchfork. This method works because it solves three of the biggest composting problems in one move. It prevents dryness by locking in water. It balances carbon and nitrogen naturally, with the bread and zucchini pairing perfectly with cardboard and leaf matter. And it builds a thriving microbial colony from the inside out. You can replicate this anywhere, in a backyard bin, a raised bed, or even a buried trench compost system. The best part? You don't have to do this daily or weekly. One of these buried layers every 10 to 14 days is enough to keep your compost pile humming, and over time, as these hot pockets expand, they bring the rest of the pile along with them. No turning, no odor, just simple layered composting that delivers results. So if your pile has been stuck or you're tired of waiting months for decent compost, try this. Freeze your zucchini scraps, soak your bread, dig a little deeper, and bury your way to black gold. For more tricks like this, where lazy methods lead to rich results, make sure to subscribe to Hydrohaven. Share this video with fellow gardeners, and let us know in the comments what your favorite composting secret is. Let's revive our soil, one smart layer at a time.